Maayong adlaw, kumusta? This is Ben from Philippines Extremes. So this video is going to be about whether or not Filipino hospitality is fake. Okay. What you'll see commonly is, the vlogging community is always focusing on the friendliness of the Filipino. And then on the other side of the coin, you'll get people who say it's all fake. And if you spend any length of time here, you'll discover that it's contrived. Okay. So I commonly get these types of comments on my Facebook group and in the forums that I frequent, and sometimes on the vlog. And a man named Boy Bawang recently posted on my When Catastrophe Strikes video, whatever I called it, I don't remember, about how the Filipino hospitality is fake, and if you're not building a house here or owning a business, you're going to experience a vastly different reaction to you, the foreigner. Okay. Now, as people will say, the vlogging community amplifies and focuses on that friendliness, which is true. And the point that is commonly made by the other group of people who don't feel that hospitality is genuine is that, those people who don't spend enough length of time here and they're only seeing one side of it. Now, I can agree with that to some extent, all right? So when you're a tourist here and you're, only here for a short while, everybody in your hotel is waiting on you. You're going to restaurants and the waitress is waiting on you and giving you service. So you're going to see not only the best side, but you're also going to be seeing the service aspect of it. Now, think about it like this. When you're in your home country, I'm just going to refer to the United States because that's where I'm from, and you go to a restaurant, the waitress is overly nice. Why? Because she's giving you a service. If you go to the grocery store, the clerk is going to be also, hopefully, nicer, giving you customer service, which in general is going to be, the better side of the experience. So as a foreigner, if you're just staying here a short while, you're going to see, a lot of that service, and it's going to rub off on your mentality of the Philippines as though that's the way everything is. And the people, as you're walking around in public, usually you have a phone or something and, you're happy to be here. So you're smiling and the people react to that and they're super friendly to you. But what people say on the other side of the coin is that it is all fake. And it's just part of the culture to overcompensate for people of higher status. Now, of course, that is true, but the reason why I focus on that aspect is because of the huge contrast, right? When you're in the States, you don't ever get, greeted everywhere you go. For example, I had to pull over to the side of the road here. I was trying to vlog while I was walking, and it was literally impossible because everybody was saying hi to me. Now, that's because, I'm a pretty friendly person also, and I've done a lot of things in the community, and people know me, and I stop and I talk to people. So for me, it's kind of a different experience. But for the other people, they say that, it's just all just because you are a foreigner, and they think you have money and they want something from you. Okay. Now, a lot of people like Boy Bawang and people on my Facebook groups and forums will say, once you own a home here or a business, like if you're doing a home build or something, you're going to find that all of a sudden everything changes and the Filipino becomes, unscrupulous and dishonest and tries to take advantage of you and sometimes even steals. And that changes your whole mentality towards Filipino hospitality. Now, I get that. I understand that opinion. However, it's pretty much universal for when you're doing a business transaction, whatever it is, home build, of course, that's a business transaction because you're using, a contractor. And it's pretty universal for them to try to bilk you for every cent or peso that they can. How many times have you heard, I'm from the United States again, so I'm referring to the United States. How many times you heard, your buddy is doing a job and the contractor cut corners, or he did a shoddy job and did everything he could to save money on the construction, and in the end was kind of a shyster. These things, it's no different in other countries when you're dealing with that profession. These things are universal, all right? But you're not connecting the dots, as it's really no different in the United States, for example, where I'm from. I don't know how many people in my life I have known that have been ripped off by a contractor who was white, who was American. These things are common. These things are universal. And think about it like this too. You don't speak the language, so even more you're going to be at their mercy because you don't have the negotiation skills. When you do a business transaction, there's always going to be negotiation. And if you don't speak fluent, and if you don't know the culture, and you don't know the prices, then you are pretty much at their mercy, and you're probably going to get taken advantage of. So when people use that as a point of reference, it's not necessarily terribly poignant because it's no different anywhere else. So that's probably a huge ingredient as to why people find this country less hospitable than the vloggers that post, about the happiness and the joy and the uplifting aspect of the Philippines. Now, for me, coming from the United States where everybody's disgruntled and unhappy, the contrast here and the friendliness, regardless of whether or not it's contrived or not, is uplifting. Okay? Who would want to be ignored and snubbed everywhere they go, like happens commonly in the States? It's a bad, terrible feeling. So, of course, it's going to be palatable when you come here and it occurs to you pretty much every 5 feet that you walk down the street. Esquina in Visaya means the street, whatever. So naturally, people are going to find that as a point of reference as to why people should come to the Philippines. And I myself also feel that that is a huge aspect as to why people should come here. Now, they'll say that, okay, if you're just here for 2 weeks, you you have no roots, like, Boy Boyang said. But I've heard this many, many times over the years, that, if you have no roots here, you don't really know what you're in for, and you don't really know what's going on. And the smile is greasy, and there's something behind it, It's like the jackal, whatever. You can have multiple reactions to that. So in the States, when some contractor rips you off and pilfers cash from you, and maybe the crew, stole your hammers or whatever people commonly say, does that mean everywhere you go, you are then in turn a jerk? And you'll hear a lot of people argue about or refer to the disgruntled expats here and how they walk around with a chip on their shoulder. Okay? You're a jerk anywhere if you act that way, regardless of your experience, regardless of the things that have occurred to you, should not negate the fact that you're still a human being and you still need to be kind and patient everywhere you go. So sure, you can have a level of understanding for the guy who's complaining about the bottled water being 27, even though it says it's 25, and say until you walk a mile in his shoes, you don't really know. But on the same token, that's a bunch of crap, because regardless of whether your contractor ripped you off in the United States or whether he ripped you off in the Philippines, if you go around being a jerk over the simplest of things, it doesn't excuse you from your lack of empathy and compassion for your fellow human being. So, is there a level of status that foreigners are treated to and they don't realize? Yes, there is. Have I experienced that myself? Absolutely. And I'll give you a couple of examples. I moved and I'm closer to the street, so I no longer ride as many tricycles. And some of the tricycle drivers that had befriended me and were so kind are now no longer greeting me and smiling, because I have lessened my frequency as a patron of their service. Okay? So I could take that as offensive, or I could realize that, hello, they're providing a service to me and they're being extra nice. It's like if you're a seller in the United States and you see a guy who always buys from you, you're going to be extra nice to him. Why? Because you're providing a service. So do I take offense to that? No, I don't. Could I? I could if I had less wherewithal and the inability to analyze the situation. Now, you don't have to own a home or own a business to have roots here, like everybody says. Okay? In the United States, if you live in an apartment, you have roots, right? So if you're long-term like me, a person who is gearing up for the 13A, you're not just a tourist. And regardless of whether or not the hospitality is contrived, because yeah, it is a little bit contrived. And I've had this discussion with other Filipino too. And I asked them, everybody's really friendly to me, but is it like that for you? And not on the same level, of course, because let's face it, you're different here. So of course you're going to be more attractive. I'm not talking about physical looks. I mean, you're going to be more attractive as a stranger, somebody to talk to, because you're unique and different. And the United States is kind of put up on a pedestal. Foreigners are put up on a pedestal because of, the extravagance and the things that are seen by people here in media and television and movies and whatnot. So you're going to benefit from that reaction that you get from other people. So regardless of how you are treated in whenever scenario, even if you feel you're been mistreated, that doesn't negate the fact that you're still a human being and you still need to be kind and tread on forward and treat people with respect and have control of your emotions. I think what you see in the United States and why people are so standoffish is because they've allowed these things to pile up, to compound their mood, to erode their patience and their compassion for everybody else. But regardless of whether or not you're experiencing some contrived friendliness, it exists here and it feels good. And there's nothing wrong with reveling in that experience, because it will be something that takes a lot of weight off your shoulders. And it feels fantastic to be out of such a negative kind of daily existence. United States, everybody is disgruntled. And a lot of times, I mean, if you're just walking in the grocery store and you pass somebody and you say hello, they'll snub you, you know, which is not to say that doesn't happen here. It does, but it's less frequent. So regardless of whether or not there's something behind it, which I think is kind of silly, because if you're passing a stranger on the street, you're never going to see them again. And if you greet them, they're going to be friendly to you, which does not happen in other places on a regular basis. It just doesn't. So I understand the points of people who have been through, you know, the mill here and gotten screwed over. But regardless, it should not change the fact that you're still a jerk if you allow your other experiences to carry over into an individual that had absolutely nothing to do with your past or your experiences that you have had here that turned sour, okay? So as far as getting taken advantage of in a house build and contractors and people wanting things from you, of course, these things are going to happen, but they happen everywhere. So those are my thoughts on that. I want to hear from other people. Go ahead and tell me your experiences. Is Philippines hospitality fake or is it real? Let's get a discussion going. Let's hear what you have to say and let's talk about it. So please like, subscribe to my channel, drop comments, and thanks for watching and have a great day.